You ready?
I think so.
Rise and shine, Green Thumbs! You're tuning in to another great episode of GTNN, the Green Thumbs News Network.
Where we grow, and we sow, and then we show what we're growing on the Easy Swap homestead.
So grab yourself your favorite beverage and a little snack, and let's get into this week's homesteading news.
So busy, B. What have you been busy doing? I haven't really seen you too much in the gardens this week.
Well, you know, Tall Rye, I've been busy avoiding the gardens. With just how bad the mosquitoes have been this past month, you don't want to go in there. I certainly do feel out of touch, though, of what's all going on, but I do know we have managed to can or freeze dry just about everything coming out of that garden.
Wow, that's great news to hear. And I can tell you this, you're not the only one avoiding them gardens. I suggest maybe look into a little meditation or something, you know, get you a little bit more in touch.
You know, I could probably get on board with that, but I used to consider my time in the garden as meditation. One thing I do know for certain, though, is just about everything out in that garden is coming to a halt. And we actually have more fall cleanup than canning and harvesting on our hands.
Well, I'm certainly not going to complain about the gardens coming to a halt. You can definitely tell the season is getting a little bit shorter. Do you think we even have a harvest report this week?
Oh, yeah!
Don't let all that dead and dying plant matter fool ya. We'll be harvesting well into October. Let's send you out to the hoop house for this week's harvest report.
So we are standing here in the swamps of Green Bay, Wisconsin. It doesn't take long to figure out the mosquitoes, they're still redonkulous. So, Mr. Gardener, what are we harvesting this time around?
Well, we still got a ton of peppers, beans, cucumbers, tomatoes, and zucchini coming from the garden. But those are winding down now that the temperatures have kind of dropped off through the nights. Okay. Today, we really need to focus on these soybeans. You can see they died back, and we got a good amount of winter squash to get off.
Interesting, soybeans. I've only really seen soybeans growing on a massive farm field scale. So what's the plan with the soybeans? Are you going to make your own like tofu or soy milk or something?
Well, that'd probably be quite the process, but we're actually going to do neither. This is just a little test plot to see how well the soybeans actually grow in this area. And we're really ultimately trying to figure out how much soybeans we'd have to grow in order to supplement our animal feed.
Wow. And how does one go about harvesting these soybeans?
Well, if we're lucky enough, we can actually just pull the pods from the plants and put them in a brown paper bag to dry. Otherwise, we're going to have to use a pruners or a knife or something to remove the plants.
Well, let's get to that, shall we?
Heck yeah.
Well, I'm sure the animals are going to enjoy their snack. So what about this squash? Is that pretty straightforward to harvest?
Yeah, absolutely. You can actually just bend down and twist them free, especially if the vine is dead. Otherwise, you can use pruners or a knife and cut them free.
Okay. And how does one go about storing squash like this?
Well, you're going to first need a cool, dark place. And then we like to just use our camping coolers and put them inside. Leave the lid cracked. It gives the benefit of keeping it dark while still allowing airflow to go into the cooler. And they can be stored up to 8 months that way.
Wow, that seems like a very long time. And what kind of squash did you grow this year?
Well, in the hoop house here, we got spaghetti squash, which will go great with our homemade spaghetti sauce. And then out in the main garden, we planted a good variety of squashes like butternut and buttercup and a couple others. But they all seem to cross-pollinate, so we kind of got a surprise on our hand.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. It sounds like you kind of made your own variety there. I wonder how that's going to taste. You mind if I take one back to the studio?
Oh, not at all.
Well, guys, I'll bring one back to you. See you in a bit.
Wowzers!
It looks like we're going to have to rent a mini tractor and probably rent some land next year so we can grow enough soy to supplement the animal feed.
Don't even tempt me. That sounds like my dream come true. Honestly, worst case scenario, I figured we could turn over some of the parents' precious grass next year.
Speaking of next year, we're going to have to store that spaghetti squash, as we still have spaghetti squash from last season still in the coolers.
Dang, that's incredible. And actually a really good sign that we're not eating enough spaghetti around here. Getting back to the homestead though, I did notice some changes going on while we were harvesting in the hoop house.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to see the weather's changing.
Weather? No, man. I'm talking about all the construction and groundwork that's going on out there.
Well, okay, of course. I did shoot a little video clip, so let's check that out now. So what happened to the reporter? They never showed up. So now I got my nice flip phone. Hopefully it does alright. Sorry about the audio quality. It is windy today, but I am okay with the wind. Keeps the mosquitoes at bay. Otherwise I'd be constantly slapping myself right about now. So as some of you know, this season our potatoes were swimming in water in this hoop house. It's kind of a low area on the property. We didn't really expect it to be that wet, but this season we realized it is super wet right here. Most of our potatoes rotted off, so that is no bueno. We want to fix that for next year. So we are taking a couple steps to hopefully have better success next season. So let's talk about that now. And for us, what we're going to do to raise this up, because the mulch and the compost is free, just takes, well, gas in our time. But just check out your local city, municipality. Chances are they got mountains of the stuff. You just got to go there and get it. So maybe the cameraman can get some more B-roll for you. But we got about 240 feet, linear feet of border that we needed. So if we would have bought brick or something, it would have been real expensive. We already had all this wood. We already have all the labor done of cutting this all up. So we might as well use it so it doesn't go to waste. So we literally just lined all of our rows with this wood. So this wood, obviously give or take, but we're anywhere between about 8 and 10, 12 inches in diameter. So that'll give us a nice raised area. And then we use 6mm black plastic underneath all of our walkways. And that's just gonna help suppress the weeds. We're still gonna get weeds, you're always gonna get weeds. Constantly fighting the weeds, constantly. It's an everyday battle, all year battle. But put some of that plastic down, it keeps some of it away. So bringing in this mulch, bringing in these logs, it's gonna kind of help us two different ways here. One, it's gonna help suppress the weeds. Two, it is going to bring in mycelium, or the fungal. So as it starts breaking down, you ever see like the white, it's almost like a white spider web, I guess you could kind of call it. It's kind of a really bad description, but fungal is everything. Fungal is a life. I believe if we did not have mycelium, we probably would not be alive right now. So most of our logs are like 8 inches in diameter, up to 12 inches in diameter. That doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's gonna constantly break down, so eventually we're gonna have to add more. We're gonna have to add more mulch. If you guys know a thing or two about mulch, you constantly have to add more mulch. Otherwise, it pretty much just turns into soil, and then your grass, your weed seeds will take off. So our plan of attack is every year, well, let's be honest, not every year. We're just way too busy, not enough time in the day. But hopefully every 2 years, we can take the mulch from the walkways, because it will be half broken down by then, flip it on top of our growing space, our garden bed here, and then just put brand new mulch in the walkways. And that'll just something we'll have to do every couple years. No matter what, you gotta constantly do something every year, every couple years. Otherwise the grass and the weeds are just gonna take over anyway. And we still gotta finish out a little bit here. So you guys need to find your reporter, because I'm heading out.
What? Even our own reporters are skipping work these days? It looks like he's not going to get paid for those hours.
Agreed. I wonder what it's going to even take to get people to work their shifts these days.
I don't know, maybe the employers could feed the employees from time to time? That would help probably boost morale.
Hey, that's not a bad theory to have. I actually just heard that you were just testing some of the produce, and you shot a little video clip. Let's check that out now.
For sure. Howdy, Green Thumbs. We're in the studio with my sweet, sweet girlfriend, here to premiere one of our very first Kajari melons.
Hopefully these melons are as sweet as I am.
I'm hoping they're just as sweet too, if not a little sweeter. Anyways,
This is the first year that we've been growing these. Planting premiere for us, so we're going to do a taste test on camera for you so we can see how well they turned out.
now I am not going to lie, I did try one of the melons that looked like this. We got primarily 2 different types of melons. These have been off the plant for a little while, so they changed in color a little bit. You can see. Now when I tried one like this, it ended up turning out to be a cantaloupe, and they're supposed to be honeydews. So we're going to hope that this one for sure is a honeydew, and I know that Jade is hoping that this is a honeydew as well because she doesn't really like cantaloupe.
Not so much.
But here it goes. We're going to cut open each one, and we're going to taste test it for ourselves, and then we'll get the rating. Do you think they're going to be sweeter than you?
I dare them.
Let's find out. Now, while she's cutting that up, I'll show you what they kind of looked like when we first pulled them off the plant. Now, these are super small, but we only got these 2 and then that other one that looks like this, and then we got 3 large ones that kind of look more like the cantaloupe. Oh.
So this one is looking cantaloupe-y.
Alright, not 100% sure why, but we do have cantaloupe. I'm going to like it. Oh, look at that!
And my favorite honeydewy.
And somehow honeydew. Now these were planted in a raised bed, was neglected, there was no other melons planted in sight. They shouldn't have crossed, so I'm not exactly sure why this did this. I'm not complaining. Alright, let's cut open
Let's chop you a slice.
Mmm. Mouth is watering already, and I haven't even gotten into them. Yum.
Do honeydew first?
Yeah, because this is what it's supposed to be. Cheers.
Cheers.
Not bad.
It's pretty good. I'd eat that.
Yeah. So the Kajari melon is actually a melon from India. We bought the seeds from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And it's just a unique, very colorful, beautiful melon. With good flavor.
Mm-hmm. I'd grow that again.
That's not so bad. Probably not as good as this honeydew coming right up. Or, not honeydew, cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe, yes.
My bad. Oh. Mmm.
I like this one, actually.
Get out of here.
No kidding.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, if I could get these.
Every year I try and like cantaloupe, and every year it just doesn't happen.
Mmm.
These are good, though.
With a little bit of salt. Oh, I'd take it up to the next step.
That was yummy.
What would you rate them?
The cantaloupe higher than the honeydew, I think.
That's crazy. I would second that 100%. Well, we sure hope we can inspire you to grow something new every year. That is exactly what we like to do here on the Easy Swap Homestead, and it brings a lot of fun to trying new things with the family.
Look forward to trying new things next year. I think we got a couple of new squash in the garden too, so maybe we'll do another cooking taste test with those.
Good idea. Anyways, back to you guys.
That's crazy!
2 different varieties grew on the same vine? I've never seen something like that before.
You know, I could say me neither on that as well. The flavor on that cantaloupe was phenomenal. The muskmelon, on the other hand, was so-so.
Okay. Well, did you happen to keep any of them seeds for planting next season?
Oh, you know I did. Well, we gotta really wrap this thing up. It's getting kind of late, and I know dinner should be ready here soon.
Hey, I second that motion. Thanks again for watching another GTNN Productions. I'm Tall Rye.
And I'm Busy Bee, and we hope to see you on the next episode. Peace.